It's funny how some of the biggest stories in history are often hidden in the tiniest objects. Today, we're going to dig into one of those, a really fascinating and honestly kind of heartbreaking story from the trenches of World War I. And it all starts with something you'd never expect, a single, ordinary spoon. I know what you're thinking. That sounds weird, right? Like some kind of old superstition or good luck charm. But what if I told you this simple act, this spoon in a boot, was literally the difference between being remembered and just disappearing into the chaos of war forever? And yeah, this wasn't just some random thing a couple of guys did. It was a common and absolutely vital practice. Thousands of soldiers did this right before facing the most terrifying moment of their lives. To really get why, though, we have to understand exactly where they were headed.
Okay, so to get the whole spoon thing, you gotta picture the scene. The name alone, No Man's Land, I mean, it just sends a shiver down your spine, doesn't it? And trust me, it was for a very, very good reason.
This was that deadly, awful stretch of ground between the two opposing trench lines. Just a total wasteland. Nothing but mud, giant craters from explosions, tangled barbed wire, a place where your chances of survival were measured in mere seconds. Absolute chaos.
And this is where we get to the really grim part of it all. The artillery, the explosions. The power was just immense. It meant that in the middle of all that chaos, a soldier could be gone in an instant. And, well, there'd be no way to tell who they were. Just completely unrecognizable.
But even facing the idea of just disappearing, these soldiers found a simple but really powerful way to hold on to who they were. It was a way to make sure they sent one last message, even if they couldn't deliver it themselves.
So what was the spoon really for? This is where their cleverness just shines through in such a heartbreaking way. It wasn't for eating their last meal. No, it was for something so much more important. Its true purpose? It was for identification. The whole system was just devastatingly simple. Here's how it worked. A soldier would take his spoon and carve his name and service number right onto it. Think about it. Paper or cloth identity tags? They'd get destroyed, but metal could survive pretty much anything out there. Then, he'd tuck it deep inside his boot, probably one of the most secure places on his body. That way, if the worst happened, his buddies, the guys in his battalion, could find that spoon and they'd know it was him.
And let's be clear, this was so much more than just paperwork or keeping the record straight. This was about something incredibly human, wasn't it? It was about that deep, powerful need we all have to be remembered.
I mean, look at the difference it made. Without that spoon, a soldier was just gone. Another statistic, an unknown casualty of a horribly brutal war. But with that spoon, he was still a person. He had a name, he had a story, and his family could get that final, terrible closure. He was brought back from being a number and returned to memory.
This quote really says it all. It was all about the bond between these guys. It was this unspoken promise they made to each other. I won't let you just disappear. It meant they would look for that spoon no matter what, so they could bring their friend's name home.
So in the end, that little spoon with some scratches on it, it was this incredible act of defiance, wasn't it? It was a final stand against a war that tried to turn everyone into a number. It was a soldier's way of making sure he was remembered for who he was, not just for how he died.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? When you're faced with something just unthinkable, how do you hold on to your humanity? This whole story, this simple spoon, shows us that even in the absolute worst circumstances, people find these amazing, profound ways to fight for who they are and remember their friends. It's just a powerful reminder that we all just want to be known.